I encourage you, for 1 week, do not force yourself to do anything and see what happens. You see, many of us live in a society that makes you feel guilty unless you are always busy. But just because you are busy does not mean that you are doing something. And just because you are doing nothing does not mean that nothing is being done. Try to wrap your mind around this one. From the Tao Te Ching. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. The Tao is in constant non-action, yet there is nothing that the Tao does not do. In the pursuit of learning, every day something is acquired. In the pursuit of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Less and less is done until complete non-action is achieved. The world is ruled by letting things take their course. It cannot be ruled by interfering. You see, the source of most of our problems in our life come from placing the burdens of the world, the burdens of our life upon our own shoulders. We, in this feeble human form, although we can do great things, we are still extremely limited. And we, as bodies, as minds, are always changing. And when you build the foundation of your life on that which is changing, when the storms of life come, you will not have built your house on steady ground. And so you will be shaken and moved by life. You will get pulled all over the place. You shall be pulled apart like a pork roast, although your experience will not be as tasty. You see, life is already evolving everything forward. It is the divine intelligence that permeates all things. But we as humans come along and we interfere with that process. And so we fall out of harmony with the flow of life. And we do things like destroy the planet and destroy ourselves. You see, you may be surprised to know that harmony is actually your default state. That you do not have to do anything to become harmonious. You only have to let go of that which is taking you out of harmony in the first place. And you see, life can only be experienced in the present moment. And so the more often you are separated from the present moment, the more often you are out of flow with life, and the more problems you will experience. And you see, the source of all of these problems are our own mind. Because our mind pulls us out of the present moment and judges our experiences. It ruminates upon the past and the future, and it is never satisfied. It always wants reality to be different than how it is. But to enter into complete harmony with life, it is required to accept and allow all experiences to be as they are, without resistance. To enter into harmony with life is a process of allowing and surrender. And this might seem like a mighty feat, perhaps a job for Bigfoot, but it is much more simple than you might imagine. Because harmony is already your default state, you do not have to do anything to achieve it. It is only the mind that thinks that it is missing something, or that what you desire is in the future. But everything you need is right here, right now. We have only spent our whole lives conditioned into feeding our thoughts and to ruminating about the past and the future. This is nothing more than a bad habit. All that is required is that we stop feeding our thoughts. Imagine for a moment a great brick wall with a screen placed over the front. And in front of this great big wall, there is a divine white light that is illuminating the screen. And on the screen is the world. It is our reality. But because we live in this world identified as a person, there is between the light and the world a person-shaped shadow. And this shadow is cast out onto the world, and so we do not see reality as it is, we see reality as we are. This white light is the source of all harmony, and its name is consciousness. And this is the true nature of what you are. But we have been conditioned to believe in this personal identity. So we live in a false reality, in an illusion, the illusion of separation. We believe ourselves to be a separate individual among a world of separate objects. But in truth, as cliche as it might sound, we are all made up of the same stardust. That all is energy, and we are that one energy known as consciousness. And this life is the dynamic play between infinite energy and space, or zero. In other words, infinite nothingness. And this infinite energy is slowed down all the way to zero, and all of reality manifests in between, with everything vibrating at its own unique frequency of existence. I say this because when you are free from the illusion of separation, you return back to harmony with your true state. You recognize that there is no person doing anything, but that life is an unfolding process that occurs automatically, without any effort on your part. Now, of course, there is a sense of free will, a degree of autonomy that our mind creates for us. The question is, do you want your life being run by the mind, by the changing, by the unreliable, or do you want to build your life upon the foundation of the eternal and unchanging aspect of yourself that is consciousness? And so what happens when you do nothing is that you begin to allow the free flow of life to work through you. You see, what makes for a great saint is that they are the perfect vessel for God. And to be a perfect vessel, one must be empty. Think about a broken clay pot that's got dirt and sand and rocks all inside. When you pour the water into the pot, the water becomes polluted. But if you have a golden pot that is pure and pristine, then the water can be used. The water is also pure. And so our expression in this life is determined by how much we resist or allow the flow of life. Life is being filtered through you, through your mind, and so whatever information is in here, and whatever memory is stored in your body, that is expressed outward, and that is what you experience. In a way, you are not experiencing life, you are experiencing yourself. And because this source of life, this consciousness, is harmony itself, it is joy, it is love, it is peace, it is freedom. The more you allow this, the more peace, love, joy, freedom, and harmony you allow into your life. And the more information you have in here, the more strong attachments, strong beliefs, strong ideas, strong identities. All of these things block the flow of life. Imagine if you were the earth, and all of your thoughts and mind stuff are like satellites orbiting the earth. Most people have so many satellites going on that they begin to block out the light of the sun. And so their world is cast into darkness. And with darkness comes death and suffering. And this manifests as problems in your life. But as you begin letting go of these mind attachments, the satellites begin falling away, and the light and warmth of the sun can bless the surface of the earth once again. In other words, your life returns into harmony, and life can flourish once again. If you are on a spiritual journey, the end of this journey will begin the moment you recognize your true nature as this light, as consciousness. You are the awareness behind all of your experiences. You are not your body, you are not your mind, you are not your personality. At the very least, these are not the true and highest aspects of what you are. but these are extremely limited and lesser versions of you. I like to say nobody can enter into this life without being a slave to something, but our choice, our free will, is what we decide to be a slave to. And what we choose to be our master will determine the quality of our life. And so you have a whole entire degree of things you can choose to be a slave to. You can choose to be a slave to your body, to your mind, to your attachments, to beliefs, to other people, to the system, to the governments, things that are always changing and therefore are not reliable. Which is why it only makes sense to worship the Most High. Because when we surrender to the highest power, this power that is the source of harmony, love, light, joy, peace, freedom, we begin to take on these characteristics. If you are a slave to the world, you will be a worldly person. If you are a slave to God, you will be a godly person. If you are a slave to money, you will be a greedy person. If you are a slave to food, you will be a glutton. And so choose your master wisely. Allow yourself to be free from the tyranny of your mind, to be free from these lesser things, and you will stop blocking the flow of life. Be rooted in the present moment and prevent yourself from being pulled away into the past or into the future. Learn to accept and allow all things, all experiences, by letting go of your individual identity. Because the mind is never satisfied. It always wants more. It always wants things to be different. And so if your life is ruled by your mind, you will be trapped in this endless cycle of suffering. But the moment you begin giving up and surrendering and allowing and accepting, you will experience more freedom than ever before. More than you will ever experience thinking that you are the one in control. Become free from the illusion of separation and find your way back to the truth. I wish you much luck on this journey. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your questions, so feel free to comment down below. And if you want to dive deeper into your problems and your thoughts, feel free to schedule a one-on-one with me. Much peace and many blessings.